Alert. According to reports from The Guardian, an ISIS suicide bomber has killed at least 22 people and injured 63 more after detonating an explosive vest at a Christian church in Damascus, Syria. Fox News has not yet confirmed the full elements of this report. The alleged attacker opened fire inside a Greek Orthodox church before setting off a bomb. According to the report, eyewitnesses also saw a second gunman fire at the worshipers, but he did not blow himself up. This is the first suicide bombing in the country since the overthrow of former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Now, of course, at this point in time, we don't know exactly what this individual had what his motive was, or if it's tied to the American bombing or not. But this is the sort of thing that is creating tension, global tension all around the world in the wake of the U.S. Attacks on these nuclear sites specifically.
Yeah, you'll remember about a decade ago, the Obama State Department actually declared there was an official genocide going on against Christians in Iraq and Syria, and it was a result of ISIS marching their way across those two countries. And now you're seeing this report about an ISIS suicide bomber on a Sunday blowing themselves up in a church. Absolutely horrific, but goes back to this ideology of Islamic supremacy, and it still does exist in many corners of the Middle East. And President Trump took great measures to go after ISIS during his first term, and it's still something they're having to deal with.
Yeah, I think this brings in a really important topic that we've talked about for the last couple of days, which is this idea that if we cripple Iran's conventional army in a big way, if the proxies in the region are stalled or held back, does that turn into sleeper cells activating here at home? Of course, that's a fear that we should have. We should be, since 9/11 and even before, honestly, we should be vigilant for that. But the other side of it is, if they're here, they're already here. And what activates them may not be what we're seeing in the headlines. As we see this now, who knows how long this was planned. And that's why it is important to have a government that looks at our border, looks at who has made it here, that uses the FBI as a part of its immigration policy. And I hope that that's what we're doing right now.
Listen, first I want to applaud you both for being cautious. We don't know the motivation. You know, there was that situation up at a church in Michigan earlier today, and my mind immediately went to maybe that has something to do with what's happening overseas, and the fact is we just don't know the motivation. However, given that we've seen this sort of attack happen before numerous times, I don't think it's difficult to put two and two together. Now, that said, I think what you said, Joey, is the most important note here, and that is what the prior administration did was unconscionable in allowing so many people to come into this country that we simply didn't vet. We don't know anything about them. And unfortunately, in many cases, we don't even know where they are. Now, that obviously puts the onus on the FBI and local law enforcement to make sure that we find them immediately. But we're all vulnerable. And this is a fact of life. We've seen this happen in the Middle East previously, and we can only hope for the very best for the folks there.
Absolutely. I think that last thing on this, we're praying for them.
Yes,
they
sir.
were at church, they were in their place of worship, and they were murdered. And unfortunately, terrorists are like cockroaches. If you kill one, 5 come to his funeral. And